So I'm out here. I'm actually working in the field today, and it ain't going to be a field much longer. I got the tractor here. Yep, there it is. We're doing some work. Let me flip this camera around. Kind of explain to you what we're doing. Running the old long. I just went inside, took a break for probably a good 2 hours. I just got this piece of chain link kind of chained to the back. Using it kind of like a rake as I go. And I'm actually using the heel of the bucket. And basically I just kind of like push her into the dirt. And as I go over it, pass after pass after pass, she kind of pushes it and smooths her out a bit. This is what she looks like. She was a lot lumpier than this. Like wavy, you know what I mean? Well, let me take you over here. This is what she looks like. This is disked. This is what she was like after the disc job. So yeah, that's what she looked like after being disked. And if we get down here a little bit, you kind of get an idea. It's not the smoothest. I need this to be smooth enough to mow. And this is kind of what we're like now. But definitely an improvement. You know what I mean? I can definitely mow this. So, yeah. That's what we're doing today. I got this side done. I'm getting ready to start that side. And that's probably going to be the hardest side. Now, half my efforts here are really just to pack the dirt in some. It's very, very soft, very spongy feeling, you know what I mean? And that's kind of what I'm doing with the bucket, is just really compacting it and smoothing it out and everything at the same time. And it's kind of like ruts. And I'm finding if I hit the rut at like a 45-degree angle, it helps to smooth them out some. There's still some here, but honestly, when I'm mowing it or whatever, I don't think I'll really notice it. It's really not bad. But I thought I'd turn the camera on here. This is basically I don't know. I just had that heart attack and I wanted to do something because I'm bored. So I figured I'd do this because I'm just sitting on the tractor, you know what I mean? And I'm not really out exercising. But I can tell you, I can feel it today. So yesterday wasn't so bad. I actually didn't feel any pain, anything. Today I do. So I'm betting the medication from the hospital has pretty much wore off. And today is kind of like, I don't know. I can feel it today. Just sore, like tender all through here. You know what I mean? Kind of like I pulled a muscle, And if I start moving something or start getting the heart rate up a little bit, that's when I start feeling it more. It's kind of, it kind of feels like I'm working a pulled muscle, you know what I mean? And so it's probably going to be like that for a little while. I'm just going to take it easy, and do little chores like this that I've been needing to get done. Because this field is no longer going to be a field. This is going to be grass. Right over here, we're going to be planting a tree. I'm going for something big though. I'm thinking a big oak, something like that. But I don't want to plant a little sapling. I want to try to plant something that's, I don't know. See if I can find something that's already like 20 feet tall or something. Dig up the root ball and plant it. That's kind of my plan for that. And then out there, we're going to be out on the far side. I'm going to plant a couple of trees, fruit trees and such, apples and cherries or whatever. You know what I mean? But that's kind of where we're at. And eventually I hope to put a sawmill right here somewhere. We'll see though. I may forget about that sawmill idea. We'll see how that progresses. So let's go ahead and fire the tractor up here. I'll take you on a little ride because we're actually working the tractor today. You can actually hear we're working. We're not just putting around, you know what I mean? We're using the horsepower this thing's got, you know what I mean? Once I hit that bucket down, she goes to work, you can tell. So let's go ahead and go for a ride and work the field a little bit. What do you say? she is. I mean, I don't think I could expect a much better result with the equipment that I'm using. You know what I mean? I had to go over it a bunch of times. She turned out pretty nice though. It just, the issue I ran into was just the dirt was so fluffy, and I had to keep going over it with the bucket, just kind of compacting it as I went. It was just too fluffy, you know what I mean? But she kind of worked out because that fluffiness helped, because as I drove over it with the tractor bucket, it kind of like pushed the high spots off and let it fill up the low spots, and then it kind of all packed in, you know what I mean? So it kind of worked out. But all I got really left to do here is pick some rocks, and there aren't many. I'll probably use the boys. I'll probably just use a wagon behind the lawnmower and drive out through here and get the boys to help me pick some rocks. You know what I mean? But there she is. We're gonna be mowing it. Oh, that's gonna be fun, isn't it? So yeah, one project done for the most part. Pick the rocks and, you know, get some grass growing in there. I don't even know if I'm gonna throw down seed. I might just let her run wild. I don't know, we'll see how she goes. This is the project to work on next. This is all that's left of that track's load of logs. Look at the, I mean, you can see where we went through a lot of logs there, you know what I mean? That end right there is how big the stack was, and it went the other way like that and down, you know? Big pile of logs, just about all cut up. There's a big one there that I'm saving for the event in July, and then there's a couple little ones there left to cut up, but that's pretty much it for the firewood. And then once I get this cleaned up, I'm going to order another load, but I'm going to try to get it further down a little bit. So that's my goal. And the other load, I'm not going to be as much of a hurry, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's all that's left. And I'm going to wait though, because, you know, I don't need to be doing that right now. Chickens are starting to grow up, aren't they? Ducks, yeah, they're getting bigger. I could give them a little food and water here. There we go, they're happy now. In fact, I think they're big enough now that I can probably turn off the heat lamp. They got their feathers now, I think, well enough that they shouldn't need it anymore. I've been watching to see if any of them might be a rooster, and I don't see any. I don't see any that might turn out to be a rooster, so yeah, no roosters it looks like. Not that I can notice, at least. I didn't get the cage up yet, but that's the project I was getting ready to do whenever I had the heart attack. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. Once I get that up though, they'll be able to come outside and, you know, make life a lot easier for me with food and so forth. Once they can start eating bugs and grass, you know. This was part of our dog kennel, which is, we just basically split it up. We got that metal around the bottom because the dogs like to try to escape, you know, but it used to be way up there against the woods. And we moved part of it to here. We're gonna use the rest of it for the chicken coop. That's kind of what we got going on there. So yeah, another day out here doing random stuff, and I think I'm gonna go inside. I got, what is it, vegetable soup. I got vegetable soup, homemade vegetable soup brewing in a slow cooker. So I think I'm gonna go in here. Should be done. So, and I'm hungry, you know, let's eat some food. But anyway, hey, we'll catch you in the next one. Later.